there were issues with the team selection, I would say.
India's biggest problem in the post Dhoni era has been
So he's contradicting his own statements as well. But so we have been talking of batting. Batting of Shubman Gill has been outstanding. Like he got man of the series for India. This is something we'll talk of again. Uh, let's not talk of Shubman Gill, the batter, because there is almost nothing to talk of it. He's been outstanding, except for one game where he failed in both the innings. How do you rate, and how do you take Shubman Gill's captaincy in this series? I might have some negative point on that, but how do you people take it? Let's start with Abhishek.
I think he's still learning, and
Yeah.
he did pretty well, but he's still learning. He needs to learn how to manage field according to the conditions, like to help a little bit more to spinners. And for pacers, you can attack. Even having pacers, you can attack with it. Although he managed the stress over the pacers, each pacers, the way he mixed bowling, the way he gave ball to the spinners and gave the bowlers rest. I think from the third game, he understood how to use those pacers, giving them the new ball when the new giving them the new ball, or when the batsman changes, he calls the pacers back. And even if he has to attack, he chooses two main bowler. Like if he is choosing Prashid Krishna and Siraj, then he will use other three bowlers to give them proper rest. And that I understood by my as per my understanding, I'm saying he might have other plans too, but for spinners, I wanted to say he need to attack more. If you are using spinners, although the spinners didn't get any help from the pitch, but he could have attacked more.
Okay. Chiroti?
Yeah, so as he said, I agree that it's still way too early for us to comment on good or bad about Shubman Gill's captaincy. Beginner's luck is always a factor, and he's still learning. Correct me if I'm wrong. This is his second series in England and a couple of
Yeah.
WTC finals. So he played the 21-22 series. So what I want to say is it's still so early in his captaincy career. It's the first 5 matches that he has ever captained in tests, and captaincy in England for India is never easy. You have to handle the pressures of not just cricketing pressures but a lot of media pressure as well. So these things is bound to get on a captain's head, and if we give him time, I'm sure he'll improve and be a better captain. None of the captains that India has seen, maybe apart from Dhoni a little bit, they have all been learning on the job. And this is a big part of captaincy in general. So I believe he'll improve. I haven't seen too big of, I mean, red flags that no, he cannot captain anymore. So definitely improve.
I think, of course, it's his first test as a captain, and he did fairly well. I would say he did. You know, he was clear with his plans. Who is the bowler that will come into attack, and he has got few plans right as well. In many of the plans right actually, but there were few situations where he did get wrong. One of those being spinners, but he actually corrected it. Kudos to him. He did place close-in fielders when in later matches of the series when Jadeja was bowling. That is something that I wanted him to do. In the first, second matches as well. When we were talking that that's something I found out that he wasn't giving the catching options to Jadeja when he was bowling, and also he was pretty good with the field positioning, except for those last 2 overs to or when Gus Atkinson was allowed to take two singles. That was something that evoked a fear in me because technically one hit from Atkinson, they needed seven in the last over. So one he had already hit a six. So one hit from Atkinson and the score should have been level. At that point, allowing Atkinson to take a single was something that I did not like in his captaincy. But apart from that, there were many good decisions he took. He kept on bowling. He kept on bowling the same bowlers. Gave long spells basically. Those long spells can at times help bowlers adapt to the conditions. Okay, Captain Gill forms part of the think tank. Another important man who forms part of the think tank is Gautam Gambhir. How do you see Gautam Gambhir going on from here as the test coach? I know uh, three different format, different coaches do not work mostly in India. Even that has not worked with the captains as well. Different formats, different captains do not work. But how do you see Gautam Gambhir going on from here? Especially he hasn't delivered much when it comes to Test cricket. So how's I'm sure this win covers up a lot for his failures, but is it enough, Abhishek?
For me, no. Actually, this uh, if you go according to how the team England was, as we were discussing at the first Test match, this is one of the weakest side of England, and they were neck to neck against us. Like we had a bats, you can say a team full of batsmen and having all the regular bowlers. Like Siraj was there, Bumrah was there, Prashid Krishna was of course uh, struggling. Akashdeep was debuting, and Ashdeep was there. For me, we had a strong team against England who just didn't had that sharpness or lethality in that bowling unit. We also talked about how if Stokes is the your lead wicket taker, then there is something wrong with the bowling unit. That if an all rounder is taking the highest wickets in your from your sides, then you need better main bowlers. And we could have won few more games, although we were neck to neck with England. But he needs to prove more, I would say.
Chirodip?
Yeah, if we go with just by stats, which again are often misleading, Gambhir has done a very good job winning the Champions Trophy, leveling the series in England. Say now, draw is again a very big deal theoretically. But if we see, as he said, if we see the side that actually England grounded there, it was not the England that we are usually used to. There were a lot of youngsters, a lot of new players, uh, people who are getting into teams just because there is no other spinner. So this is not the England that we should be drawing even. And to be very honest, this match could have gone anyway, either way. So we could be easily looking at a 3-1 or at least a 2-1 loss in this series. And this is not a very good, I mean, technically speaking, not a very good report card for them. He definitely needs to enforce his whatever it is he rules with an iron fist here in this team, and that needs to show at some point. It cannot be just showing results on paper, because this England side was definitely not the one that he should be proud of defeating or leveling.
There were no, there were issues with the team selection. I would say we had been talking about this that we have fielded only three pacers on a pitch which looked green from day one. We could have and should have probably gone with another pacer, and then there were some issues outside that as well. Like Pant when Pant got injured, one match was remaining for us. Jagadishan was called in as a replacement for Rishabh Pant with one match to play. fairly sure that Jagadishan isn't playing. So why do you call one player up when you got Dhruv Jurel in the first place? And if Dhruv Jurel is not good enough to give one single match, why is he on the team in the first place? And touch wood, uh, if Jurel if Jurel did get injured, we have KL Rahul who can at least cover up for those injuries. I know he cannot be the regular keeper for the test, but he can cover up. So those are few things that puts Gautam Gambhir on the back foot. There are few decisions like uh, why Harshit Rana, who was doing well in Australia, did not get another chance. You come on the press conference after the Border Gavaskar Trophy. You say that pl- players need to play the domestic circuit, and then you do not give chances to players who actually come through the domestic circuit for the likes of Abhimanyu Ashwaran and for that example, Sarfaraz Khan, who is doing really well in the domestic circuit. So he's contradicting his own statements as well. But uh, the pressure he was under, the amount of pressure which he was under before the start of series has eased out to some extent for at this moment for me at least. So since we have come from the highs of the series to some of the issues and with Gautam Gambhir as well, uh, in a nutshell, what are the issues with this team going forward? How do you see this team? What are the things we need to improve? Let's start with Chirodip.
Yeah, first and foremost would be keeping. I guess Indian think tank should groom another keeper as a backup for Rishabh Pant, because Pant has been known to have problems with injuries, and what he has done is magnificent. But given the fact that an injury-prone keeper cannot be always reliable in terms of his fitness, so India should have someone who can. So, for example, Dhoni had Riddhiman Saha, where even if Dhoni goes out for one match, Saha would be a stand-in keeper any day. He would walk into any team with his keeping skills. He probably saved India a lot of runs to concede in terms of his keeping. So we are definitely lacking a Riddhiman Saha level keeper in the side. Pant is improving a lot. What he was 3 years back, he's not anymore. He's improved a lot. But keeping is the first and foremost thing I would uh, look at in terms of the team selection. We cannot have stand-in keepers for every
Okay,
series and change it.
I'll just stop Chirodip here and we'll come back to him since you have been mentioning wicketkeeper and you do not know, Abhishek is our college team's wicketkeeper batsman. He opens the series. So I would like to
Nice.
take his take on this first, the wicket keeping side, and then I will come back to Chiradeep for the rest of the points. Abhishek.
I agree with Chirodip that permanent keeper should be there as we have Rishabh Pant. And if we are talking about backup keeper, at least it should be better than Dhruv Jural. Okay, we need to have a if you are giving chances to Rishabh Pant, that's because he is a better batsman than being a better keeper. Okay, and if you want a backup wicket keeper, that should be a proper wicket keeper who can perform any uh, basically better than any other wicket keeper from Indian side for the whole country. I'm saying, be it in the first class, you if you want to compare in the first class or in the international side, and that's where you he mentioned that Ridhiman Shah was there. I think if I compare, I was a big Dhoni fan, and if I compare wicket keeping skills of Ridhiman Shah, he was fabulous. Like he was like flying behind the wickets. Yeah, like I literally loved him when he was keeping. And for Rishabh Pant, I would say he needs to learn a lot from Ridhiman Shah if you talk about only wicket keeping. He is a proper batsman. He gives you runs. I have no issues with his wicket keeping. But when you want a backup for just for wicket keeping, then he should be a proper wicket keeper, and his wicket keeping should like basically be the reason for being in the team, not his batting. And
I
even
think
Dhruv Jural
we
didn't even perform with bat that much.
I think we need keepers who come from those coaching book keeping coaching book manuals. Ridhiman Shah is one of them. Dhoni is not someone who you associate with those coaching book manuals. He was unorthodox in his approach, both in batting as well as keeping. But we need better keepers than Dhruv Jural at this moment at least. If Jural improves, that's absolutely fine with us. We need performances for the team. Okay, heading
Actually,
back
I
to
have
Chiro.
seen him doing better. Yeah, Dhruv Jural
Yeah,
is a
actually,
good keeper. We have seen him
actually.
doing better than
Hmm.
this. I don't know what happened in this pitch. For the first, when he came, like when he appeared
The
in
fourth,
this series for
fourth,
the first time, I was like,
fourth man.
what is he doing? Is it the pitch which is like giving uneven bounce? Maybe that may. Even I defended him in one of the podcasts, but now I'm thinking either he is lagging behind or he is taking casually. He needs to do work on it.
Okay, so going back to Chirodeep, you are listing out the issues with this side.
Yeah, just one point to add to this keeping discussion that we are having. India's biggest problem in the post Dhoni era has been that we have great keepers, we do not have great batters in terms of keepers. Keeper batters are lacking in this country a lot. If they focus on keeping more, their batting drops. Same happened with
Hmm.
Riddhiman Saha. The only reason he was not a legendary player in the Test side was because of his lack of batting skills. Every great side that we have seen in terms of high value performing Test sides, they've had a backup keeper. If you see Gilchrist, he had Brad Heading to back him up. If Gilchrist misses one match, Brad Heading used to step in and phenomenal
Hmm.
keeping skills. So this is what I believe. Even if it is Dhruv Jural, if India decides to go with Dhruv Jural, we cannot have a string of keepers for one series, two series, and then dropping them and seeing trying others out. We had KS Bharat for a while. We had him in the WTC final. We had Ishan Kishan for a while. He then fell out of the Test squad. So that way, I believe players cannot be made. You have to back someone at least to a point that you can conclude that yeah, he is going to work or no, he's not going to work. Even if it is Dhruv Jurel, he has to have that confidence. You cannot just for one test, you cannot bring a Narayan Jagadisan in just because you do not have enough trust in Dhruv Jurel. This will again break his confidence only, and it's not going to help the team. So this is where Gambhir's captaincy has been very defensive, where he just fills the team with batters, give me 600 and I'll defend whatever. The bowlers leak 150, it doesn't matter. I'll defend 600. This approach doesn't work. It didn't work in the Kia Oval because the pitch was greener than other matches.
Let's go. Let's go to Abhishek.
I would say stability in the batting lineup and bowling changes. Like if you basically change your whole squad with the batting lineup. Like if you change two or three players regularly from the five top five batsmen, then you are changing basically 50% of the batting squad. And on the other hand, in the bowling, if you have two irregular bowlers, like you can say who are who may take rest in any of the matches, then it's an issue for the bowling lineup too. Like if you talk about Prashid Krishna and Akash Deep were like in doubt who will play, who will not play, based on if Bumrah is available, if he's not available. You need to like make it sure that who's going to play or who's going to have those chances or have a stable at least batting lineup for that. And even in that way, I would say there was a time when Australia was doing such switching. There was Sean Tate, Mitchell Johnson, and even Stark when these three were. And you will
Winners
see
play.
that if Stark is rested, Tate will come, Tate will go back, Stark will come, Mitchell Johnson is doing good. And they were trying new bowlers uh, ever now, like in one match or another match. And they had a good stability having Faulkner there. And it was all good for them. But here, I don't know if Akashdeep would be in next series or not. If Prashid Krishna is going out, if Ashdeep will debut, I don't have any idea like who are our main bowlers. And if I'm not even sure that if I get a report that Bumrah is retiring from Test,
Yeah,
I don't
someone
know.
say Mohammad Kaif said that. Mohammad Kaif said that probably. If I'm not wrong,
Like
Mohammad Kaif said Bumrah is
if you
retired.
cannot play three consecutive Test matches, then how can you be in the Test match squad? Like
Yeah.
if your speed drops or your performance drops just after one match, then it's questionable. Huh? I don't know. There
He
should be
was
stability,
actually
I would say.
he was
Huh?
actually pretty average in the fourth test or his start that he played. He was actually pretty average in that match. Uh, I
India's
think
pace attack, if it is a fully fit Indian pace attack, is still very good. But the problem is we do not have all four of them fit at the same time. Sometimes Shami goes out, sometimes Bumrah goes out, sometimes uh,
Oh, of
Siraj
course, Siraj
will
is there.
not be one
Siraj is
hundred
there.
percent.
I
Yeah,
don't know
Siraj.
how
Siraj is there.
Siraj fitness level of Siraj is at peak. Like he
I think
bowls
that's
like 120 overs in a series. It's too much. Yeah,
Of course, yeah.
you need to like
Very
his
give applause to
in
him.
both BGT and this England series he bowled more than 150 overs.
And he is like he can bowl. Like if you ask him to bowl, he will bowl. He enjoys bowling. Okay, he enjoys his aggression. He enjoys bowling, and he enjoys being on the field.
The only problem is, see, everyone is not getting any younger. At some point, age will catch up to you, and then is when we have a
I'll
Yes,
tell
he
you
can go
something. I'll
close to
tell you
100.
something. The next series that we the next test series that we play is against West Indies, starting if I'm not wrong,
at home, right?
October 2 at home. So in that series, we can be very sure that Kuldeep Yadav is coming back. So one of the pacers will be rested for sure. We'll go with only two
I'm not
pacers.
sure if Kuldeep will come back because we do have two spinners, Jadeja, Washington Sundar, and I think even Akshar Patel would be willing. If
That would be a
Gautam Gam,
blunder
Gaut,
that would be a blunder if that happens. You have to have a proper. Why? What will you do with nine batsmen, man? If eight batsmen cannot score the
exactly
runs,
what I'm doing. As
what are you going to do with
Very
nine
defensive.
batsmen?
uh, I'm uh, I'm thinking as the team management is doing. Like I'm going with the team management
Yeah,
that
yeah, yeah.
they are choosing all rounders over the main proper bowlers. I will say, and
Yes.
if we talk about records, Akshar Patel has decent records.
Akshay is well,
Great
nice.
record,
He has
not
got
just
good
decent,
record.
Huh?
great record.
So that's what
Great
I'm
record.
saying, na? And he can do wonders with
And
bats. We have seen it.
if Akshar Patel has to play, I would say rest Jadeja and play Akshar Patel. That would give Jadeja his deserved rest as well, and
Ah, ah,
bring
after
him
this
back.
Why
kind of
Kuldeep
performance, I don't
performances?
know if it
No,
happens.
it's
You
Kuldeep
can give,
definitely
yeah,
deserves a place.
huh?
by against West Indies at home against this one West
Yeah,
Indies at home
you can give rest to him, but
because next
we don't have good history about giving rest to a player. Okay, you give it rest to someone and
It will be a blunder if Kuldeep
if,
doesn't play.
if not
He, with
if
his
not Kuldeep
performance, he
Yadav
deserves it.
then there should be another proper spinner. And at
there
this
is
moment, we
no,
do not have many.
we don't have
We do
any.
not have many, to be honest.
I don't think they will go for UG.
Definitely not.
UCHL
No,
is out of the
India
plans. It
control.
seems he's not even in the T20, not even in ODIs as well.
Yeah, I
Kuldeep
don't
should
know
have
what's
played the
happening.
Headingley Test. Kuldeep should have played the Lord's Test at least. Even though Washington did a very
Yeah,
good job, but Kuldeep deserved a
Washington.
place there also.
What the thing is, selection of Washington Sundar will be justified because of his runs, but
Batting.
there was a need for a bowler, especially a spinner, who could turn the ball and mm, give you the wickets.
Probably the target would be 15 runs less, and yeah, it would have
Yes,
a
sure, for
easy
sure,
one.
for sure.
Okay,
So,
bro.
and I
I'm
do
leaving
not
actually.
understand why Kuldeep is being sidelined here. Gambhir has spent a lot of time with Kuldeep. I think 3 plus years. He knows what
But
Kuldeep is capable of.
even he, if you
Gambhir has
look at that,
captained him.
Kuldeep was dropped in KKR segment as well.
Post Gambhir, but
So I
still.
don't think we have had a good discussion, and we'll end here, of course. And uh, there are a lot of issues with Asia Cup as well. We'll have a discussion on that. Uh, keep watching and tune back in for our Asia Cup discussion. Thank you so much.
Okay.